I'm Jim. I'm a pretty average guy, 19 years old, but pretty thin and short at 5 feet 8 inches. I have kinda long hair and I've been teased and harassed at school before for looking like a girl. Jim. Jim. Could you please pay attention and stop daydreaming? Sorry, Mrs. Ferguson, I will. Mrs. Ferguson sighed, well, class is about over anyway. Please see me before you leave. Just great, I thought. The school year is just starting and I'm already getting into trouble. After the bell rang, I slowly packed up my stuff, allowing all the other students to leave before I went up to the teacher. I didn't want everyone else hearing me get yelled at. Ah, yes, Jim, she said as I approached Mrs. Ferguson. Here, I've got a letter I want you to give your mother. What is it about? I asked, getting worried. Don't worry, you're not in trouble. But it's best that your mother find out first, okay? Okay. I sulked out of there, still thinking it was about my daydreaming in class. When I got home at 3 o'clock, I took a nap to put off giving the note to my mother. I knew she'd be home about a half hour later. My dad doesn't live with us. My parents got divorced when I was 5. I woke up 3 hours later. I didn't sleep well. I'd had a dream like the other weird ones I've been having lately where I was a girl. It kinda creeps me out. I don't think I like them. I reluctantly left my room and walked to my mother's room, passing the empty guest room, and stopped in the doorway. She was doing work on her computer. Mom. I've got a letter here for you from Mrs. Ferguson. What's this now? She asked. She wouldn't tell me, I said, trying to read over her shoulder. Oh, it's actually from Ben. That's the name of Mr. Kirk, my principal. My mom and him have been friends for a long time. What did he say? Well, it's about a girl you go to school with. Do you know Shikomi? I blushed at the question. Yeah, I've seen her around. Shikomi is a girl whose parents moved here from Japan when she was 2, then her parents died about a year ago. She's unbelievably cute. I melt whenever she's around, but she and her friends giggle when they see me. Well, my mother continued, Ben has asked if she could live here with us for a while. She's been in a temporary home ever since the accident and they didn't want to put her through any more trauma by sending her away, especially at her age. She's a year older than me. So she's going to live here? I eagerly asked. Well, I guess that would be okay by me. I trust Ben's judgment. It was hard to contain my excitement, but I didn't want to make it obvious how glad I was to have Shikomi moving in with me and risk my mom changing her mind. The next day when I got to school, Mr. Kirk and Shikomi were talking. As I passed them, Mr. Kirk called me over to them. Did you deliver my letter to your mother, Jim? Yes, I did. I looked over at Shikomi. When she looked back, I must have blushed 3 shades of red because she giggled. And what did she say about it? The principal asked. She said it was a great idea. Ugh. Why can't I live with one of my friends? Shikomi asked. Because most of them have unstable homes. Mr. Kirk answered. And the ones who do still can't afford to have you. Jim's mother is a lawyer, and she also happens to be a close friend of mine. So I guess I'm riding home with you? Shikomi asked, looking over to Jim. Yeah, my mother said she'll be working late so she left money for pizza. Meet me here after school and we'll head to my house. My house now too. I guess. Shikomi said sadly. Well, you two need to get to your classes, the bell is about to ring. Okay, Shikomi and I both said. During my classes, I couldn't concentrate. I kept thinking about how this beautiful girl I've had a huge crush on was actually going to be living with me. At the end of the day, I ran to the front of the school where I told Shikomi to meet me. After a few minutes I saw her coming. "Hi Shikomi," I said as she passed me, and she kept on walking, so I started following her. We went all the way to my car, and got in without her saying a word to me. "So where are we getting the pizza?" Shikomi asked several minutes after we got in the car. "Papa John's sounds good. Here, I'll order." "What do you want on your half?" I asked as I pulled out my cell phone. "Pepperoni and mushroom," someone at the pizza place finally answered. "Hi, I'll have a large pepperoni and mushroom pizza. My name is Jim and I'll be there shortly to pick it up." "Yep. Thanks, bye." Well, we got our pizza and went home. We sat at the kitchen eating in silence until... "You like me, don't you?" Shikomi asked. I blushed. "Why do you ask?" "Because I want to know. Now do you or don't you?" "Well, yes, of course. I've really liked you ever since I first saw you. I'd do anything for you." Shikomi said nothing. Just sat there thinking and eating her pizza until she got up and went to her new room. Later that evening my mother came home with all of Shikomi's belongings. Apparently she had spoken with Shikomi's friend's parents with whom she was previously living. Shikomi was sleeping in the spare bed in there, so my mother and I quietly brought her things into the room. We thought it would be funny for her to wake up and see all her stuff. After my mom and I finished, my mother left and I was in Shikomi's room. Well, just out of curiosity, I started seeing what kind of clothes she had. I probably looked at every article of clothing then left. She was still sleeping when I left. Or so I thought. I didn't know she had woken up some time before and quietly watched me looking through her clothes, pretending to still be asleep. The next morning, Mom left for work before me and Shikomi even woke up. We were preparing cereal when... "Did you see anything you wanted to borrow?" Shikomi asked with a sly smile. "Oh, while me and my mother moved your stuff in?" I asked after a minute of confusion. "Well, it looked like you have a lot of cool music I like." Shikomi just smiled and sat down to eat. Shikomi and I went to school again together, but she told me she would be getting a ride home from a friend so she could go shopping after school. She got dropped off by a friend of hers about 2 hours after I got home. She had some rather full bags. She took them straight to her room. "What did you buy?" I asked as she passed me. "You'll find out," she answered oddly. That night she asked if there were any more pillows in the house. I ran to my room and got her one of my own. She just took it and returned to her bedroom. The next day there was no school. It was Saturday, but of course my mother still had to work, and again left before we woke up. Shikomi walked up to me. "So Jim, you'd do anything for me, huh?" "Oh yes, of course." "Okay then. You will. I want you to make me a nice breakfast. Eggs and pancakes." "No problem." I turned to get started. "Oh, not so fast. First I want you to change into this," she said, tossing me a duffel bag. I caught the bag and without hesitation, and without even looking at the contents, headed towards my room to change. It was something she wanted. How could I deprive that angel of something she wanted? "Okay," I said. Once I got into my bedroom and looked at the contents, I called out as Shikomi. "I think you gave me the wrong bag or something." "No," she stated. "Get dressed, now." I slowly walked out holding a dress that was in the bag, but... "It's..." Shikomi glanced at the dress, then at me and pointed towards my room. I said to get dressed. I went back to my room, undressed completely, took out the pair of white cotton panties, slid those on, then the white tights, the heavily padded bra, then the dress. It was a black and white maid's dress. I mean the old-fashioned kind, with the petticoats. I made sure to zip it up halfway before putting it all the way on, then I was able to reach the zipper to zip it the rest of the way once it was on. I was dressed. Still confused as to why I was dressed this way, but I shyly exited my room. I was obviously embarrassed to be dressed like this, and especially around Shikomi. She looked at me when I walked out. Do you need me to do up the zipper for you? No, I got it. Shikomi gave me a funny look. Well, come here and turn around anyway. I did as I was told, and shortly later she fidgeted with the zipper and I heard a clicking noise. I didn't think much of it. I was busy being embarrassed about what I was wearing. Okay, now get started on my breakfast. I'm hungry. Okay, I replied. No, wait, right there, you should have said yes, miss. Yes, miss, I replied and went to the kitchen. I got out some pans, and all the stuff to make eggs and pancakes. That finished and I put them on 2 plates, poured syrup on the pancakes and poured 2 glasses of milk. It's done, Shikomi. She came into the kitchen and asked, what should you have said? I'm pretty smart and I knew what she probably meant. Breakfast is served, miss. She eyed the food. Did I say you could make you some? It's okay, this time. Just ask next time. Yes, miss. We both sat down to eat. So, here's a weird question. I started after a bit. Why am I in a dress? Well, what else would a girl such as yourself wear, Erica? I just sat there with my mouth open, speechless. Chapter 2, Erica, what did you just call me? Well, I figured you'd need a new name now that you're going to be a girl. So you're going to make me wear this all the time? Well, not that dress specifically. You'll get to wear normal dresses most of the time, but when you're wearing that dress, you are my maid, and must address me like I was telling you earlier. But my mom. Yes, you get to put on your boy clothes when she's around, but you must still wear panties under them. Now hurry and eat, we've got things to do. After we finished eating, she instructed me to go into the living room while she went into her bedroom and changed. She came out wearing a very cute dress like nothing I'd ever seen her wear. Of course, that's probably because it would surely be frowned upon if she wore it to school, even though it certainly wasn't revealing or anything. It was a pink and white dress, full with petticoats. She had on white 2-inch heels and a necklace with a little gold dolphin. Okay, let's go, she said when she was changed. What? Where? I can't go out dressed like this. You can, and you will, she said firmly, so let's get going, now. No, this is where I draw the line. Around here is one thing, but I can't leave like this. People I know might see me. No way. In fact, I'm getting out of this now. And I stormed off to my room to change back. You locked me in. I shouted as I ran back into the living room to find Shikomi smirking and waiting for me. I sure did. Now let's get going or I'll never let you out, and you'll have to explain to your mother how her son got into a dress. But when? How? I told you to come to me and you stood right in front of me while I did it. Then it dawned on me. I remembered her doing something to the zipper, even though I had already zipped it, and hearing that clicking noise. So without saying another word, I decided there was no other choice but to join her. I kinda tried to hide, walking behind her. The second I got out the door, I was horrified to hear a shudder and see a flash. I was right to be horrified too, because when I looked over I saw Taylor, one of Shikomi's friends I recognized from school, sitting in the driver's seat of her car in our driveway. Apparently Shikomi had called Taylor at some point, probably when she went in her room to change. Hey Jim, Taylor said, emphasizing my name. What's new? She asked, very amused. It's Erica, not Jim. Shikomi informed Taylor. We got in the car, me in the back and Shikomi in the front passenger seat. Please promise you won't show that picture to anyone, Taylor. I can't promise you anything, she replied. I do whatever Shikomi asks, isn't that right? She asked, looking at Shikomi. It sure is, Shikomi said and kissed Taylor. It was a small kiss, but on the lips. So, you two are dating? I asked. No, not really. We used to, and we're still just very close like that, Taylor answered. Taylor started driving. So how'd you get this idea, Shikomi? Taylor asked. Well, I saw Jim going through all my clothes when he thought I was asleep, even the underwear. A little rude of him, but I got the feeling he'd like this. I gasped. You saw me? Of course. I even asked you if you saw anything you wanted to borrow, but you didn't understand. After that we drove in silence for a bit until Taylor parked at a meter in Benton, a city also known as Little Japan because 90% of the businesses and people who live here are Japanese. Come on girls, Shikomi said, getting out of the car. As Taylor got out, I saw that she had a cute dress like Shikomi's, but all black and a bit more goth. I was obviously very nervous, but I was surprised that nobody around looked at us oddly. Then I started to notice that there were others dressed similarly. Not the majority, but about a fourth of the people I saw were dressed as such, mostly girls. We started just walking around, looking at various shops, and talking. Well, they did most of the talking. And Taylor asked a passerby to take a picture of all three of us. Boy, I hope these pictures don't get spread around school. Shikomi led us right into a store called Transylvania. This is a Gothic and Lolita shop, Jim. Me and my friends come here all the time. There were rows and rows of dresses like the ones we were wearing. A row of anime costumes. A little section of shoes. And even a section with fabrics and sewing stuff. After about 10 minutes of browsing. Hey guys, what's up? Who's this cutie? A girl said, approaching us, looking at me. She looked a little familiar from school, but I didn't know her. Oh, hey Kyra. Shikomi said excitedly, hugging the new girl. This is, Erica. A friend of ours we met recently. Hi Erica, nice to meet you. I like the maid's dress. Maybe we could hang out some time and you could wear that dress and be my maid. And do stuff for me. She said, smiling and winking at that last part. Wow, yeah, I said, sensing that this cute girl was hitting on me. Then I remembered how I was dressed and that she didn't seem to know I'm actually a guy. She thinks I'm a girl, and she flirted with me. I guess I have no shot with her. Well, I gotta run. Talk to you all later. Nice meeting you, Erica. I hope to see you again soon. See ya, Kyra, both Taylor and Shikomi said in unison. As soon as Kyra was out the door, Taylor turned to Shikomi. Kyra was right next to Erica and couldn't tell. That's really funny. Ooh, look at these wigs, Taylor. You'd look good with this hairstyle. It's called a dolly curl. Yeah, but I like this long straight hair wig better. Taylor said. Then they both looked at me, and I got a real bad feeling. Then they glanced at each other, and as if they knew what each other was thinking, let's go, Taylor said, and they both led me out of there. Of course I was wondering where we were going now, but I found out when we started heading right for Pretty Polly's salon. Ohio girls, a lady inside greeted us. I know some Japanese, so I knew Ohio meant good morning. Hi there, Shikomi said, we're treating our friend Erica here to a makeover. Give her the works. Okay, sit right here, Erica, the lady said. But Shikomi, I can't. Now don't be nervous, Erica, Shikomi said, emphasizing Erica, you'll look good. I couldn't argue about why I shouldn't get a makeover in front of this lady. I didn't want her to know I was really a boy. So I went ahead and sat down and she went at it. First she started on my hair. I had to sit and watch in the mirror the whole time, but I suppose it might have been worse not being able to watch. I'd be wondering what was happening the whole time. Before she was finished, I could tell what she was doing to my hair. She made it wavy. I just don't know how I'll explain this to my mother. Then she put some stuff on my face that she said was some sort of mask. Didn't look like a mask I'd seen in any comic book, heh. After applying the mask, she said it would have to soak for 15 minutes. In the meantime, she led me to a table and told me to soak my fingertips in a liquid she had in a bowl. After 5 minutes of that, she started filing my nails and cleaning them up. She then painted them white, and with unusual marker pens, drew flowers on each one. That's when she said I could rinse off the mask, and showed me to a sink. She then sat me in a chair again and went down to my legs. She spread some goo onto my legs and put a piece of paper on it. I was unprepared for what was about to happen next. She ripped the paper off, causing much pain, and taking hair with it. Ouch! If you must do my legs, can't you shave them? That takes longer, plus this lasts longer because when you shave, it just grows right back out. This removes the entire hair, so it takes longer to grow back. I had to admit, that did make sense. She continued to do all of both my legs. At least I saw it coming the rest of the time, but it still hurt like hell. Then she started putting makeup on me. I can't believe I'm admitting it, but when I saw myself in the mirror now, I actually looked like a cute girl. All done. How do you like it, Erica? I'm cute. Hee, rather speechless. I'll take that as a compliment. Shikomi and Taylor split the price of my makeover and we left. Shikomi! What am I going to do? My mom will notice my hair. Well, just tell her you wanted it done like that. Some guys have wavy hair. You look cute like that. Shikomi said. So what now? Taylor asked. Well, I'm getting hungry, let's eat. Shikomi said and headed across the street for a restaurant. It was kind of a mix between a food shop and a restaurant. They ordered food, but I don't like foreign food. They insisted I'd like it if I tried it, but I still didn't. After a while my stomach started rumbling, so they got me some Japanese candy and a dessert which I tried. It was pretty good, but of course candy is good, no matter where it's from. We finished eating and left. As we were walking down the street, oh, guys. An arcade. Let's go in there. Well, okay, it might be fun, Taylor replied reluctantly. It was really cool playing the Japanese versions of the games I knew, and the new ones as well. After about 10 minutes of me kicking ass in the arcade, come on Erica, let's get out of here, you're playing very unladylike. Shikomi said. I didn't want to leave, but they practically dragged me out of there. Next we went into another store kinda like Transylvania, but smaller. I wound up buying a dress of my own, one kinda like Shikomi's, but mine's all white. It was just so cute, I couldn't resist. After I left I said, oh my god. Why did I get this? It's okay Erica, you picked out a really cute one. I bought you some dresses last night that I'll show you when we get home. But I'm a guy. Guys don't wear dresses. I must have just been caught up in the moment. You sure don't act or look like a guy to me, Erica, Taylor said. I thought it was funny at first, but all day I felt like you were just one of the girls. After that I just had a lot to think about. I just don't want to be a girl. I never have and I never will, I declared to myself. I'm only dressed like this because Shikomi wanted me to, and she locked me in. Well, let's get back to our house before your mom gets home, Shikomi said to me. Taylor, come and hang out there for a while. Sounds good to me, Taylor replied. Yes. Finally, I was going to be getting back into my own clothes. We were driving back towards mine and Shikomi's house, my relief growing with every mile, when our house came into view. Shit. Mom's home early. She'll see me. I shouted when I saw her car in the driveway. Chapter 3, Mom meets Erica. Oh, relax, it won't be the end of the world, Shikomi told me. Now come on and get it over with. As we walked in the door, I saw my mom on the couch, holding her head. Hi Shikomi, are these your friends? Yes, Mrs. Adams, this is Erica and Taylor. Do you mind if they hang out here for a while? I was shaking like crazy. I was sure that my mother would recognize me. Sure, it's your house now too, after all. Where's Jim? His car is still in the driveway. Oh, he said he'll be out with friends until tonight. Shikomi answered. Okay, when he gets home, tell him to fix you both some dinner. I've had a rough day, I'm headed to bed. Okay, night Mrs. Adams. Shikomi said as Jim's mom headed to bed. I collapsed on the couch. Oh my god, I was so nervous. Mom looked pretty drunk. She only does that on rare occasions when she's really stressed, and since she's home early, she probably lost a client or something. Well, everything turned out okay, didn't it? And isn't it great? You get to stay like this even longer today now that your mother has gone to bed for the night, said Shikomi. Yes, it's just great. I said sarcastically. Well, you heard your mom. Get to work on our dinner, and make something for Taylor too. Great, I thought at least my being a maid was over. Yes, miss, I replied, even throwing in a curtsy for humor, and they certainly seemed to approve of it. I heated up the leftover pizza from last night. I hoped they weren't planning on a big special meal. Dinner is served, Mrs., I said as I walked back into the living room with the pizza. Shikomi had popped in a DVD full of NSYNC music videos. Cool, pizza, Taylor said enthusiastically. So we sat, eating the pizza and watching the videos for a while, singing along with the better songs. Yes, I actually like NSYNC. So can we see those dresses you bought, Erica? Taylor asked Shikomi after the videos. I was hoping they'd both forget about them. Sure, let's go to my room and I'll show you both. Here are a few sweet Lolita dresses, and a couple that are more goth, and of course the maid's dress she's wearing now. Wow, they look great, but I'd like to see how they look on her. Shikomi looked over at me, and picked up the first dress. Okay, change into this first. And just keep the petticoats on, you need them for most of the dresses anyway. Shikomi took out her keys and opened the lock at the back of my neck. So I took off the maid's dress, took the new dress, zipped it halfway, slipped it on and reached back to zip it the rest of the way. The petticoats cover up my nudity, so I just changed right in front of them. I did a twirl. How do I look? Does it make my butt look big? We all laughed because with the petticoats, of course the whole bottom of the dress looks big. Yes, it's cute, Shikomi said, but how did you know how to zip up your own dress? You did it like you've done it before. Before today, I mean. Well. Okay, I won't lie. I have. When I was much younger, I used to put on my cousin Natalie's dresses when I was at their house and nobody was around. I was just curious, really. She's about the same age as me. But please don't tell anybody, nobody else has ever known. Now I understand. This morning I thought it was odd when you said you'd already zipped it up. Okay, try on this one next, Taylor said, holding up a pink and white dress with loads of lace. "Of course you picked the girliest one," I said, giving Taylor an upset look. "Hey, she's the one who bought them," Taylor said, pointing to Shikomi. "I just like it." Okay, I'll try it on," and changed like before, again and again until I had worn them all. I actually wound up in that pink one with all the lace again in the end. "Hey Taylor, stay all night, we can have a slumber party." "Cool, okay, let me just call my mom and tell her," Taylor replied. Taylor's mom was okay with it. In fact, her mom said that worked out very well with some sort of plans her parents had. "You'll need to borrow one of my nightgowns," Shikomi said to Taylor. "And here you go, Erica, I bought you the same nightgown that I wear, we'll be twins." "Okay," I said, being goofy, and I went to the restroom to change into the nightgown she had given me. When I got back, both Shikomi and Taylor had changed into theirs. Later I realized I hadn't put up any argument in changing into the nightgown to wear to bed. Weird. "Here, let's spread blankets on the floor and all sleep down here to be fair," Shikomi suggested. "Okay," I said, and we did. Taylor turned out the lights and we all laid down on the blankets and covered up with a huge blanket we had stored in the hall closet. After that we just laid, talking and staring at the ceiling. They did a little boy bashing, but I didn't mind because I even agreed that most guys are mean and dumb. The topic veered to what things we wanted to save our money up for. They mostly listed various clothes, while I want games and music CDs. We kept talking about just about everything until we drifted off to sleep. So I fell asleep next to the girl of my dreams. A week ago, if somebody had told me I would be sleeping next to Shikomi a week later, I'd have called them a liar. But I would especially never have believed it would be under these circumstances. We awoke to the smell of pancakes and other yummy breakfast foods. I hurried and changed into some boy clothes, put on a hat to hide my hair, and went downstairs to find Mom and a full table of food. "Morning, Mom." "Wow, thanks, you don't make breakfast like this often." "Well, I thought I would because Shikomi had a couple friends stay all night. Her friend's car is still outside." A few minutes later, Shikomi and Taylor came down, still in their nightgowns. "Morning," they both said. "Where's Erica?" my mother asked. Both girls glanced at me. "Oh, she couldn't stay, we dropped her off at home last night." "Oh darn, I made her food too." "Well, I was planning on grabbing a donut and running, but I guess I'll sit down with you all and eat what I'd made for her. Then I'll be leaving for my errands." We sat and ate. Mom asked how all three of us were doing in school. I think that's a mandatory mom thing to ask their kids' friends how they're doing in school. Then Mom got up after eating only one pancake. "Clean up when you guys finish, I gotta run." "Bye, Mom," I said. "By Mrs. Adams," Shikomi and Taylor said together. After we finished eating and cleaning up, we were talking. "Hey, let's go to the mall," Taylor suggested. "Okay, I'll go change," I said and went to my room and put on a t-shirt and pair of jeans, then came back to the living room. "Oh, you didn't think I'd let you go like that, did you?" Shikomi said to me, shaking her head. So Shikomi took me back to her room and handed me a red peasant top and a black skirt. I changed into them knowing it was hopeless to argue, and because I liked the idea of hanging out at the mall with Shikomi and Taylor. The skirt went down to a few inches above the knee. And Shikomi gave me a pair of girly socks and a pair of Mary Janes in my shoe size. Then I was instructed to wait in the living room while the two girls changed in Shikomi's room. They came out wearing clothes more like the ones I'm used to seeing them wear at school. Of course, Taylor had to borrow clothes from Shikomi since she had worn a gothic Lolita dress yesterday. "Okay, now we're ready to go," Shikomi said as they came back into the living room. We got to the mall, we took Taylor's car again. We were headed into the mall when Shikomi told me you'd better pick out some outfits for yourself, Erica. You're free to borrow my stuff once in a while, but I want you to get some girls' clothes you like. Okay, I replied, less than happy. We went into several teen girls' clothing shops. At first I was nervous to go into the changing rooms, but Shikomi assured me I looked more like a girl than most of the actual girls in there. They made me model at least 50 outfits, if not more, commenting on them all. I wound up getting a few peasant tops for myself. I kinda like the look, a few skirts, a full-length floral print dress, about 10 pairs of panties and bras, and a couple pairs of shoes in various shops. In one of the shops I stopped and looked at the jewelry. I picked up a pair of stud earrings with cats' heads that I thought were cute. I've always loved cats. A saleswoman walked up to me as I was looking at them. We have a sale right now. If you get your ears pierced and buy a pair of earrings, you get half off. Huh, yeah. That sounds good. I replied, not paying much attention, still just staring at the cat earrings. Great, sit right here, she said, pointing to a chair, and I did. She took a gun, and the earrings I was holding, and punched a hole in each ear. I snapped back to reality after the first ear, then she did the second. I was only thinking about how I liked those earrings. Okay, that'll be just $7 for the earrings and piercing, she said, and I paid her. I was heading back to where Shikomi and Taylor were looking at a rack of shirts. Erica! You got your ears pierced. Those look cute, Taylor shouted. Oh my God! What have I done? How will I hide them from my mom? I just got caught up in the moment. I wasn't thinking. I was looking at these earrings, and the next thing I knew, a lady had me sitting in that chair, piercing my ears. Oh, relax, Shikomi said. You have such long hair, just use it to cover your ears around your mother. I just hope I don't get caught up in the moment again, and wind up kissing some guy. Oh, I don't think you have to worry about that, Taylor told me. I think you're a lesbian like both of us. Actually, I'm bi, Shikomi stated. But I agree, I think Erica is all lesbian. Yeah, well, it's true that I only like girls, but I'm a guy, so I can't possibly be a lesbian. When you're dressed like that, you are, Shikomi told me. Whatever, I said. Can we just get out of here before I buy a girl's bathing suit? Oh, don't worry, I already got you one, and it's a bikini. Shikomi said, then started laughing. I sure hope she was joking. We did leave that shop. We started walking around, looking for more cool shops to go into. Jim. Hey Jim, is that you? I heard a guy behind us shout and I froze in fear. Chapter 4, Training. Hey Jim, wait up, the guy shouted again as he ran past us to a guy and a group of friends up ahead. Holy crap! I let out. I thought he was somebody who recognized me. Oh, relax, Erica. You look nothing like Jim now. Not even your own mother recognized you. Yeah, but I think she might have been drunk, I replied. Oh, I'm sure she wouldn't know it was you any day of the week, Taylor added. I hope you're right, I told her. When we got to the food court, I said I wanted a pretzel, so we all got one and sat down for a bit to eat. You know, Erica, you look perfect, but if you're so worried about somebody finding out you're actually a guy, we should head to the park and teach you better feminine mannerisms. Taylor said after a while of thinking. So after we finished eating our pretzels, we headed for a public park not near our homes. We got out and Shikomi brought a couple big school books with her to a bench in the park. I guessed she wanted to study a bit while I practiced. First, Erica, watch how I and other girls are walking. We tend to put each foot in front of the other, almost like we're walking on a straight line. It's not quite that extreme, but I want you to practice going in a straight line like that to get used to it, then you'll be able to tone it down a bit. Go ahead and try that. So I did, and after a bit of observation, Taylor said that's pretty good, but take smaller steps, and walk more slowly and smoothly. And I did that for a bit. Doing good, Shikomi said. Now practice doing that while balancing a book on your head, it'll help. I did that for a while. It took some work to be able to balance the book on my head while walking, especially in the 2-inch heels I'm wearing, but eventually I got good at it. Okay, now let me see you carry this other book, Shikomi said, handing me the other book, and I held it down to my side. Just as I thought, Shikomi said. No, Erica, most girls carry books so that their arm is bent at the elbow and they hold the book up against their chest. I don't understand it, but they just do, and guys tend to carry books down at their side. Okay, I replied, and held the book like she told me to and did more walking. Very good, you're getting the hang of it more easily than I thought you would. You're a natural, Shikomi told me. After all that, the girls told me I didn't really need any more practice for the day, so we just walked around the park for a bit, then sat on a bench for a while and people watched. I was paying attention to girls walking. Then we went and swung on the swings for a bit. Let's go across the street to that gas station and get sodas, I'm thirsty, Shikomi said after about a half hour of swinging and talking. Okay, both me and Taylor said. We were filling up our sodas when we heard a familiar voice. Hi girls, my mother said. I turned around and saw who it was. Hi Mo, or Mrs. Adams. Phew, close one. Oh, hi Mrs. Adams, Taylor and Shikomi added after my near slip-up. What are you doing here? Shikomi asked. Well, like I mentioned this morning, I have errands to run and at the moment I'm getting gas. I think I'm at the right place, she laughed. Well, I gotta get going girls. Bye, and my mother left. I came very close to almost calling her mom just now. I said. Well, you didn't, and she didn't even suspect you were Jim, did she? And she's not drunk this time. We paid for our sodas and left the gas station and started walking back towards the park where the car was parked. Well, you too, sorry to tell you, but I have gymnastics meet later. So that means I have to drop you off and go home to get ready. Okay, no problem, Shikomi said. And we all piled into Taylor's car, but oddly enough, Shikomi sat in the back with me on the way home, and a couple times I looked over to find her looking at me. Each time I noticed that though, she quickly looked away and pretended she wasn't watching me. Me and Shikomi got home, said bye to Taylor, and she left after saying she'd call later. We got inside, Mom still wasn't home. I was exhausted, so I went to my room and took a nap. I was awakened about an hour later by a knock at my door. I hurried and covered up in case it was my mother, then I called out, "Who is it?" "It's Shikomi, can I come in?" she replied. I relaxed a bit, "Sure, come on in," and the door opened. She came in holding a box. "What's that?" I asked, looking at the box. "Well, it's a gift. For you." And she handed the box to me. I opened the box, and in some tissue paper were 2 skin-colored mounds. What are these? They're breast forms. You stick them to your chest with a special skin adhesive, then put your bra over it. They feel and look very real, the only difference is that the nipples don't get hard. We both laughed at that last comment. I hugged Shikomi then, I don't know why, but I was pretty emotional at that time. Well, thanks, I think. But why'd you get me a gift? It's no special occasion. Well, there's something I have to tell you. I like you. I mean, I like who you are right now. I like Erica. You're a different person when you're all done up as a girl. Not like Jim. Wow. I just sat there thinking for several minutes. The girl I've had an unbelievably huge crush on just told me she likes me too. Except that there's a bit of a catch. She likes the female me. So then is this why you did all this? Because you'd like me better a girl? I asked. No, honest. Liking you better like this was the furthest thing from my mind. But during it all I think I kind of fell in love. Shikomi said, on the verge of tears. I reached over and held her hand. Are you serious? You're not playing with me? She shook her head. I sat thinking for almost a minute, and then I couldn't stand it anymore. I scooted closer and kissed her. It certainly caught her by surprise, but she didn't fight it. She seemed to almost melt into the kiss. It got very intense, lips pressed tightly against each other, then softly caressing each other. Our tongues found each other, and were soon dancing around together. I lifted my hand to her cheek and held her face with it. We both laid back on the bed, holding each other, and still kissing. My hands went exploring under her shirt, just feeling her soft skin on her back. Finally we came up for air. Wow, we both said at once, and we just laid there on the bed so close that we were touching, out of breath, and holding hands. I know it sounds cliché, but I swear, I saw fireworks during that kiss. Right then the phone rang. I answered it. Hi. I said in a goofy, out-of-it sort of way. Hey Erica, it's Taylor. Hi. I said again in the same way. So what's up? I just got out of gymnastics, and thought I'd give you girls a call. Hi. I said yet again in the same way. Yes, hi, new word please? Taylor replied. Shikomi took the phone. Hello, she said into it. Yeah, it's me. Hi Shikomi. What's with Erica? Oh hi Taylor, excuse her, she's in her own world right now. When I came back down from Cloud 9, I asked Shikomi who was on the phone. Wow, you really were out of it, weren't you? Shikomi asked. It's Taylor, she got out of gymnastics a bit ago. Did I fall asleep here or something? I asked. Shikomi chuckled, she knew exactly why I asked that. No, that wasn't a dream, Erica, she told me. Well, hey Taylor, I'm going to let you go, okay? Talk to you tomorrow, bye. Let's watch a movie, I suggested. Okay, what movie? How about What Women Want? Sounds good to me, Shikomi said, smiling. We laid and cuddled, watching the movie the whole time. It's kind of a chick flick, but I don't mind at all, it's one of my favorite movies. I know what women really want, Shikomi said after the movie. What's that? I asked. Other women, she said, and we both laughed. Well, let's get changed and get to bed, we have school tomorrow, I said. Yeah, okay. Here's your nightgown, Shikomi said, handing it to me. Shikomi started changing into her own nightgown right there in front of me, so I did the same. As we lay in bed, I couldn't help but wonder how I was so lucky to be with Shikomi like this, regardless of if I needed to have boobs to do it. And that's how we fell asleep holding each other. Just a peek at what I have of Chapter 5 so far. Chapter 5, untitled for now. The alarm woke us up very early the next morning. No. I want to just stay and lay here with you all day, Shikomi said. Yeah, me too. But we need to go to school. So we got up and started getting dressed, right there in front of each other now, as if we'd been doing it for years. Don't think this means I'm going to go easy on you or stop making you wear dresses. If anything, it'll be quite the opposite. You still have to do as I say. Got it? Shikomi asked, looking at me as she pulled on her black skirt. Okay, I said, pouting. I'm serious, she replied. I know, I told her. And I really did know she was being serious. And wear these panties under your pants, she said, handing me another pair of white cotton panties. Chapter 5, Schoolgirl. The alarm woke us up very early the next morning. No. I want to just stay and lay here with you all day, Shikomi said. Yeah, me too. But we need to go to school. So we got up and started getting dressed, right there in front of each other now, as if we'd been doing it for years. Don't think this means I'm going to go easy on you or stop making you wear dresses. If anything, it'll be quite the opposite. You still have to do as I say. Got it? Shikomi asked, looking at me as she pulled on her pants. Okay, I said, pouting. I'm serious, she replied. I know, I told her. And I really did know she was being serious. And wear these panties under your pants, she said, handing me another pair of white cotton panties. As we got ready for school, I paid attention to what Shikomi was wearing. It was certainly a change to see her wearing an average blouse and a pair of jeans. There was no mistaking them as boys' jeans though. They had embroidered swirls and butterflies on them. I was so glad to finally be dressing in boys' clothes again after this whole weekend, except for the panties Shikomi was still making me wear. At least nobody at school would be able to see them. As I continued getting dressed and getting ready for school though, I put my gym uniform into my bag and then I remembered. I would have to change into my uniform later on. Other guys would see my panties when I was changing. So when Shikomi wasn't looking, I snuck some of my own underwear into my bag before we left. When we got to school, Mr. Kirk was waiting in the hall as we entered and asked if he could talk to us. So how's the new living situation going? He asked. Oh, it's going excellently, Shikomi quickly answered. I wasn't sure about all this at first, but it turned out to be a good thing for us all, didn't it, Jim? She asked, looking over at me. Well, yeah. I said, caught off guard. What else could I say? That's terrific, guys. Keep me posted, okay? Okay, we both said, and headed off to our classes. Gym class is right after lunch, so before getting to lunch, I stopped in the restroom and changed into my own underwear in a stall, then continued to lunch. I forgot that Shikomi had the same lunch period as me because I never sat with her at lunch, nor had I even ever had the courage to talk to her before all this. Where have you been? Asked Shikomi when I got to lunch and found her waiting for me. Oh, I had to use the restroom. I nervously replied. Okay, but get here more quickly next time. Here, feed me my grapes, Shikomi said, sitting down at a nearby table. I felt very weird being made to feed her grapes one by one. There were a bunch of other people looking over at us. Other than that, I didn't mind too much, except that it delayed my eating of my own lunch. Lunch ended and I went to gym class without embarrassment. I was so glad I remembered about gym locker room while still at home in time to grab a pair of my own underwear. After school, me and Shikomi met at the front of the school like Friday, and headed home. Oh look! Shikomi shouted, the dresses on that billboard look so cute. Quick, do you have something to write with so I can copy down that website? Look in my backpack, it's in the back seat. I told her. She grabbed the bag and started going through it. What are these doing in here? Are these the ones I gave you to wear this morning? She said, pulling out the panties. Without even looking, I knew what she had found. I was busted. I sadly nodded. And what made you think you could disobey me? Shikomi asked. Gym locker room. Was all I could get out. I was scared at this time. More scared than I'd ever been of any teacher or my parents. And you didn't want any guys in the locker room seeing you wearing panties, is that it? Shikomi asked. Again, all I could do was nod. Well, all you had to do was change shirts first, then pull the shirt down to cover up the panties while you changed into your shorts. She was right. I hadn't thought of that. If I'd done it carefully, I could have changed, without anyone seeing them. I'm sorry, I'll do it that way from now on. Well, you're going to have to try to hide more than panties from now on. For the time being, you've lost your pants privileges. My what? I asked, confused. Well, your boy pants, anyway. Do you see the pants I'm wearing now? She asked, pointing at them, specifically pointing to an embroidered butterfly. Yes, I replied. These are what you'll be wearing to school tomorrow. Please no, Shikomi. I can't wear those to school, people will see me. You should have thought about that before you disobeyed me. Please no, punish me at home instead. It's either this, or skirts to school, your choice. I didn't respond. For a moment, I considered kicking her out of my car. But then what would I tell my mother and my principal? I was mad because she was making me wear girls' clothes? Yeah. That'd go over real well. When we got home, I went straight to my room. I was angry at Shikomi and also at myself for telling her to go through my backpack. A while later, Shikomi opened my door without knocking and held up 2 pairs of pants. Which do you want? She asked. The ones with flowers or butterflies? I've got more girly pants, but these are your choices for tomorrow. Unless of course you want to borrow one of my skirts? I just kept staring forward in my bed, not even acknowledging her entrance. Fine, then I'll choose for you. She said, looking at them, then tossing a pair onto my bed. The ones with flowers are cuter, you can wear them. And with that she turned around and left. I went to sleep very early that night. I didn't even eat dinner because I didn't want to leave my room and see Shikomi. I didn't sleep well though, not one bit. I was awake half the night worrying about what people at school would say about my pants. Wake up, Erica! I heard Shikomi shouting at me. Oh shit! I said when I realized I had forgotten to set my alarm, and instantly I was wide awake. I grabbed at the pair of pink cotton panties Shikomi must have laid out for me, changed into those. And without even thinking, I pulled on the flower pants because they were the nearest pants I could find. I grabbed my backpack, grabbed a Pop-Tart package and ran out the door with Shikomi already waiting for me in the passenger seat. When I got in the car, Shikomi pulled me to her and planted a long nice kiss on me. Sorry I had to be so tough on you, she said when our mouths parted. Huh? No problem. I said, not even sure of what she was talking about because that kiss pushed absolutely everything out of my thoughts, especially something as seemingly unimportant as pants. We got to school and went our separate ways to our own classes after another short kiss. Don't get too used to those, Shikomi said. I don't give kisses out very often. Hey! Look at Jim's pants, everyone. Jim's wearing girl pants. Tony, one of the loudmouth kids who likes to bug me, said when I got to my first class. I looked down. Oh, shit! I shouted. I slept in and had to rush to get ready today and accidentally grabbed Shikomi's pants. I explained, and it was actually kind of the truth. I'm glad things worked out like they did this morning for that reason. I shake a lot when I lie, and that really was the truth, so I was able to pull off that excuse to most people. But the guys who liked to tease me kept at picking on me for it though. I made it to lunch, basically having the exact same scene in all of my classes. And I slumped into the seat beside Shikomi. Please let me wear my own pants tomorrow, Shikomi. I can't keep making up excuses every day for why I'm wearing these kind of pants. Well, just tell them the truth then. Shikomi suggested, matter-of-factly. I can't tell them that. Well, it depends on your behavior, and I don't like being shouted at. That shut me up. I just sat there quietly and politely ate my lunch. After lunch, in the gym locker room, I changed the way Shikomi suggested, which was a lot harder now that everyone in there was harassing me about the pants and paying attention to me. But I think I managed to change without anyone spotting the panties. After gym, I was walking in the hallway to my next class when I saw Taylor. I was wondering if she was going to bug me too. Nice pants, Erica. Where'd you get them? Taylor asked, walking up to me. I shot a real mean look at her, very funny, you know whose they are. And keep it down with that name. Someone will hear you. Oh, sorry. Honestly, I wasn't trying to be mean. To tell the truth, I kind of forgot you were a guy. I mean, you look like a guy right now, but I stopped thinking of you as a guy. Yeah, well, I am still a guy, and I'd prefer to keep it that way. Okay. I really was just trying to give you a compliment. You look good in those pants. Thanks, I think. Nobody else here at school thinks so though. Look, Shikomi told me what happened yesterday. You really should just obey her. I stopped fighting her a long time ago. It's much better for both me and Shikomi to just do what she says the first time she says it. Taylor told me. So then you're... Yeah, I'm kind of one of her slaves. Taylor said, interrupting me. Does she have others? I asked. I think so, but I'm not sure. She hasn't let me meet any of the others, except for... She stopped talking. Except for who? I asked. Well... Except for you. What? I'm not one of her slaves. If you say so. But I think she thinks you are. Was the only reply I could think of, and I started doing some thinking. I don't know if I should confront her about this and tell her I'm not one of her slaves. If I do, that will piss her off and she'll keep making me wear girl pants, or maybe even worse, to school. But if I don't, she might go on thinking she's my mistress or something. I got even more harassment and embarrassment in the rest of my classes because of my pants. There was one girl though in one of my classes named Sarah. Sarah stuck up for me and told the teasing guys to shut up and that just wearing those pants doesn't make me a girl. I thought that was really cool. That gave me a lot of respect for her. Before this day, I have just thought there was something different about her, but I didn't know quite what it was, and I still don't. And she's always been very shy. Finally, the end of the day came and I waited for Shikomi in my car because I wanted to get out of the school and away from everyone else as soon as possible. After a while of waiting, Shikomi got to the car. I expected you to be at the door waiting for me. Be there from now on, she told me as she got in. Yes, miss, I replied in a sarcastic tone. You're lucky I'm going to let that go. I know you had a sucky day. Everyone was talking about your pants, even in my classes. We got home, and she instructed me to get into the light yellow dress. I went to my bedroom to change. When I got back, Shikomi was all done up in black leather gothic attire, with black 3-inch heels, and holding a whip in one hand and handcuffs in the other hand. I just froze in my tracks, scared, when I saw that. Chapter 6, Costume Shopping. Well, how do you like it? It's going to be my costume for the Halloween party coming up at school. I've seen signs for it hanging on the walls. Shikomi said when she saw me staring at her. I just kept staring at Shikomi in disbelief. I couldn't talk. And we're about to go and get yours and Taylor's costumes. Taylor is on her way over right now, in fact. I'm thinking a really pretty dress for you. No. I am not going to any school event in a dress. The pants today were bad enough. I'm taking this dress off right now, I said, running to my bedroom. Oh, Erica. You will be going to the Halloween party dressed exactly as I say you will. I was quickly out of that dress and was changing back into boy clothes when Taylor arrived. Get to Erica's room. Hold her down for me, I overheard Shikomi say at the front door. Taylor came in, grabbed my arms and held them behind my back as Shikomi slowly entered the room. Looks like I'm going to have to use the lock again, Shikomi said, showing me the lock she used for the maid's dress. I struggled to get away from Taylor, but that wouldn't work. She's surprisingly strong. Shikomi laid down the lock and pulled my pants back off and picked the petticoats up and instructed me to step in. I had nothing else to do with these two girls forcefully dressing me, so I stepped into the petticoats. Let go of her arms, but keep hold of her, Shikomi said to Taylor. Help put the dress on, Erica, Shikomi said as she lifted the dress up over my head. I reluctantly obeyed, slipped my arms into the sleeves. Turn around, Shikomi rather harshly commanded. I turned around and heard the zipper going up, and then a familiar clicking noise. Only, this time I knew what it was. And then Taylor stepped away, looking at me with a mixture of confusion and sympathy. Now, as I was saying, we will be going to that Halloween party, and I'm going to pick an extreme dress for you because of this little outburst of yours. All the better though, a normal dress like you've been wearing wouldn't have been appropriate for a costume party, now would it? Actually, I agree, Taylor said to Shikomi, even though that means it'll be worse for me too since you told me at school that me and Erica will be wearing matching dresses. Yep, and you can thank Erica. Let's be going now, Shikomi said, heading out the door, and we followed. Thanks, Erica, Taylor said, looking at me and smiling. She wasn't being sarcastic. She's enjoying this. What have I gotten myself into? We got outside and locked the front door behind us. At this point, Shikomi turned to Taylor. Let me drive. Of course, Taylor said, handing the keys over to Shikomi. Shikomi got in the driver's seat, and me and Taylor got in the back seats. This is when I got a chance to look over at what Taylor was wearing. It was a very elaborate red dress with plenty of lace and ruffles. I couldn't imagine ever wearing something like that, and if this is an ordinary dress, I fear what I'll be wearing for Halloween. I soon recognized where we were going. We were heading back towards Little Japan. Where in Little Japan, though, I don't know yet. We parked and started walking, then I saw our destination. Shikomi was leading us right back to Transylvania. When we got into Transylvania, it was very obvious that they had redone the store since we were last here. They added plenty of Halloween decorations. Bats all over the place, and a few jack-o'-lanterns. Shikomi and Taylor headed right for the sweet Lolita dresses, me kinda trailing behind them. They spent about 20 minutes going through all the dresses. I wasn't really paying attention. I did not want to be here, and certainly did not want to be shopping for one of these dresses to wear for Halloween. Shikomi went around the corner. I found your costume, girls, I heard Shikomi shout, excitedly. Oh wow, look at that! I heard Taylor shout next. Taylor was right with Shikomi. I walked around the corner and saw what the two were looking at. It was a mannequin wearing a dress that was all pink with some white, with even more elaborate lace, designs, and ruffles than the one Taylor was wearing, but the skirt part of the dress was very, very short. Shikomi was in the process of picking up a dress like the one the mannequin was wearing, and another one just like it but with the colors backwards. That one was all white with some pink parts, just the opposite of the first dress but exactly alike. Here, carry these, Taylor. Shikomi said, and we all headed towards the registers. We were almost to the registers when something caught Shikomi's eyes. "Oh no," I quietly said immediately when I saw what Shikomi was looking at. Shikomi picked up a collar. It was red, had silver rivets all around it, a little ring in the front in the shape of a D, I assume for attaching leashes to, and in the back was an unusual nub. When I got closer, I saw that the nub was a built-in lock on it. They also came with attachable leashes and keys with rather fat bases. After only a moment's thought, Shikomi picked up 5 of these collar sets. "I'll get a few extra," she said, looking at us. "Just great," I thought to myself. She got backups, in case they get lost of something. Shikomi paid, and we headed out the door. At least I don't have to pay for this costume I don't want, I thought to myself. Then I realized, that kinda shows she cares for us in her own way. Spending all that money on us. Dresses like this aren't cheap. I went back to kind of resenting Shikomi right when we got out of the store though, because she ripped open the first collar package and told me to turn around. She reached around my neck and put the collar on me, then I heard a loud click and my heart sunk with that sound. It was far worse than the little clicks of the padlock she uses for my dresses. She then put the key in her pocket, opened the second package and instructed Taylor to turn around, and she did the same to her. With this, I realized. I am one of her slaves now. I am going to have to do something about this. Now girls, you are to keep these collars on at all times unless I take them off for you, but don't count on that. Now let's get back home. So we loaded back into Taylor's car, Shikomi drove again. When we got back home, we went to Shikomi's room and Shikomi laid the dresses on her bed. "Change," she said to both of us. "The pink one is yours, Erica, and come here and let me unlock that dress for you." I walked to Shikomi, then turned around to allow her access to my lock. Once I was unlocked, I picked up my costume dress and went to my bedroom to change. The dresses did have a largish body, they go straight out, but like I mentioned before, they are very short. "I can't wear this to school," I shouted when I got back into Shikomi's room. "You can see my underwear if I bend over even the slightest bit." "Oh, but you will be wearing it. And so will Taylor. They look very good on both of you. And you will both be wearing these under them," Shikomi said, holding up 2 pairs of yellow underwear, with a good amount of lace on both of them. "But why are we wearing those?" I asked, confused. "They don't even match our dresses." "Oh. Just because I want you to. That is why," Shikomi replied, with a smirk on her face, and Taylor looked away, looking as if she might have known why we had to wear them. "Okay Taylor, change back into the dress you were wearing, and Erica, go put on that nightgown, and bring me your dresses," Shikomi said to us after having us model these dresses. We both did as we were told. I went back to my room to change, and when I got back, Shikomi had opened a large lockable chest of hers. She already had Taylor's dress in there and put mine in there when I handed it to her. "I'm keeping them in here so they'll stay safe until the costume party," she said as she locked the chest shut. "Taylor, could you head home now? I need to have a talk with Erica," Shikomi said, looking over at Taylor, and I instantly felt afraid. What now? I asked myself. "No problem, see you tomorrow at school, you two." And with that, Taylor left the room and let herself out of the house. By now she knew her way around our house pretty well. We heard her car start, and when we heard it no more, Shikomi looked over at me. "Did you learn your lesson about disobeying me?" "I have," I said, looking down. "I really don't want to wear girl pants to school anymore. Please don't make me." "Okay, I think you really do regret what you did yesterday." I will let you wear boy clothes to school again, except for the panties. And you better always be wearing them or it'll be right back into girl pants or maybe even skirts while you're at school. Do you understand me? I nodded. I want to hear you say it, Shikomi said. Yes, I promise to keep the panties on. I said. Good, now let's get to sleep, Shikomi suggested, and I headed back to my room after we said good night to each other. The next morning I showered, got dressed, putting on a new pair of white cotton panties I got from Shikomi, and when I saw the collar in the mirror, I remembered all the events from the night before. I pulled on a normal pair of jeans, and put a turtleneck shirt on to hide my collar. You could still see the lock nub in the back if you really looked, but it wasn't all that noticeable. Shikomi and I got in the car and headed to school and went to our own classes. The whole day I was still being teased a bit for the pants I wore the day before. Other than that, the day was pretty uneventful. That is, until I got to my last class. Remember Sarah, the girl who stuck up for me yesterday about my pants? When I got to my last class, I was shocked to see her wearing a collar exactly like mine. Chapter 7, Punishments. I walked up to this girl I only barely knew. Hi, Sarah. Oh hi Jim, don't worry about yesterday, I hate those jerks. She said to me. Yeah, me too. I was wondering just now. You know Shikomi, don't you? Heh, that sure is an understatement, she replied. You're one of her slaves. Aren't you? I whispered. Sarah quickly shot a scared look at me, with eyes wide open. How'd you know that? Who told you? In response, all I did was pull my turtleneck neck down and revealed my own collar identical to hers. She made me wear those pants yesterday. I see. So you must have upset her? Sarah asked. You could say that. I disobeyed her. Oh dear. Just try not to piss her off too bad or you'll wind up like me. What do you mean? I asked. Oh, sorry. I was kind of assuming you'd figured it out. Do you remember Seth Barnes who moved away last year? Yeah, I responded. I knew of him, but never really talked to him. Well, he didn't really move away. I used to be him. I couldn't believe it. First of all, Sarah looked all girl. And second, I couldn't believe Shikomi would do that. Force a guy into being female, permanently. But what about your parents? Did she make your parents go along with it too? Sarah shook her head, she didn't have to. She made me. I had to lie and tell my parents that I'd always felt I should have been born a girl. They were okay with it and agreed to let me come to school like this. Holy crap! Doesn't it suck? I asked. Well, it did at first. But I don't know. I'm kind of used to it now. It's hard to imagine going back to being a boy. So when do you see Shikomi? I asked. She's been spending all her time with me and Taylor. Well, I don't see her too often anymore. She controls me over the phone or computer and comes to my house occasionally. Sarah answered. Oh. Okay. I said. Seats everyone. The teacher shouted, coming into the classroom. Talk to you later, I said, and headed to my seat. By the time class ended, I had forgotten I wanted to talk to Sarah more. I darted right out the door. I needed to talk to Shikomi to make it clear to her that she wasn't going to be doing that to me. I got to the front door, started waiting. Not much time had passed when Taylor approached me. Hi, Air. Jim. Shikomi told me to tell you she would be riding home with someone else, and that she was doing a few things after school. Oh, okay, I said, and was heading away when she stopped me. Hey, hold on. Can we talk? She said as she reached and gently grabbed my shoulder. Sure, I guess. I replied. We walked to the back of the school where we would have more privacy. There was nobody else around back there. I'm really sorry about yesterday when I had to help hold you down. I can't not do something Shikomi tells me to do. I just don't want to endure any more punishments of hers. Well, it's okay. Don't worry about it, I understand. I told her, still kind of upset about it though. You know. I was serious when I said you shouldn't resist Shikomi. She's given some pretty damn huge punishments before. You wearing those girl pants to school might have seemed embarrassing, but that was literally nothing compared to the depths of punishments that she wouldn't hesitate to give you. Yeah, I know. I'm starting to figure that out. I met another of Shikomi's slaves today. Do you know Sarah Barnes? Oh, yeah, I've talked to her once or twice, Taylor replied. I didn't even know she knew who Shikomi was. Neither did I said, until I saw her wearing one of our collars. Oh. So I wonder if all 5 collars were for 5 different slaves. Said Taylor. I don't know. But Sarah used to be Seth Barnes, the guy who supposedly moved away last year. Shikomi made him become a girl, permanently. Wow. I would never have guessed that about Sarah. But I suppose that punishment doesn't surprise me, coming from Shikomi. Now I was really starting to get worried. That punishment didn't surprise Taylor? What kind of other horrible things has she dished out to Sarah and Taylor? Hee, good thing that punishment can't apply to me. The equivalent would obviously be making me be a boy, but that's very unlikely. She really hates boys. So what kind of stuff has she done to you as punishments? I asked Taylor. Well, there's the really small punishments she's given, like making me walk up to random girls I never met and kiss them right on the lips. She has made me turn in long, detailed love letters to teachers, rather than the reports that I was supposed to have written. She's made me give her foot massages, but I really didn't mind doing that at all. Or making me come to school nude, of course I got sent right back home by the principal. I gawked. Coming to school nude was a small punishment? Oh, I'm sorry, continue. Oh yes. Compared to the worst punishments. For starters, that whip she has as part of her costume. Only very rarely does she inflict pain, but she's used that on me. Once, she made me dress up like a slut, wear lots of ugly makeup and stand on a corner and be a prostitute for the first person who came along wanting me. Luckily for me, it was a bi-curious girl who wanted to experiment. Yeah, that's really weird to call something like that lucky, but at least it wasn't some gross fat guy who might have diseases. Those are just a couple out of many punishments she's given me. Wow. That's bad stuff, I said. Yeah, but it's in the past. I fully obey her now, so there's not much for me to worry about. Except for the random crazy or embarrassing things she has me do for no reason. Great. I've got random meaningless things to worry about too. Yep. By the way, can I get a ride home from you? My mom dropped me off and took my car this morning to go to a doctor's appointment. Sure, no problem, I said. We can hang out at my house too for a while if you want. Sounds good to me, Taylor said. I glanced at my watch before getting in my car. We had been here chatting for a couple hours. When we got back to my house, Shikomi was already home. We were greeted at the door by Shikomi when we got in the house. Oh, it's perfect that you're both here. Come here, I want to show you two something, and we followed Shikomi to her room. In her room, Shikomi retrieved two of the collar keys. I noticed she had written our names on them. I haven't even tested out any of these collars yet. Tested? I asked, and all of a sudden Taylor and I jerked as we both got a jolt to our necks. They're shock collars, Shikomi said with a big smile beaming on her face. The keys are also the remotes to make them shock the wearer. And I can choose how big the shock is with this thing on the side. It works just like dog shock collars. If you do something wrong, I can shock you. Hee hee, that's pretty cool, Shikomi, Taylor said. Cool? I asked Taylor, looking very confused. Well, it's not that bad, and better than major punishments, Taylor said to me. Well, it didn't seem that bad because it was on the very lowest shock, Shikomi said, smiling. And there are two frequencies each remote can use, with a switch to use the other frequency, so if one ever broke or something, I could use any key to shock that person. Good thing there's only two of you, or pushing the button on one key would shock two people at once. But that wouldn't be so bad, it would just be all the more reason for you to make sure each other behaves, and obeys me. Oh, I would never disobey you ever again, Shikomi. Taylor said. I hate how she sucks up to Shikomi. At least I think she's just sucking up. Either way though, it's making me look bad. Well, I've had a long day today and earlier I got a good idea. Could the both of you massage my feet? Take one each, Shikomi said as she pulled off her shoes and socks. We both started rubbing Shikomi's feet. I guess I agree with Taylor as far as massaging her feet goes. It's not all that bad. It's not like they stink or anything. After about a half hour of rubbing Shikomi's feet, Taylor said she needed to be getting home, so I left to take her home. When I got back, Shikomi's light was off, and her door was closed. I guess that massage really relaxed her. I went off to my room, changed into my nightgown and went to bed myself. I suppose I could have gotten away with not wearing this girly nightgown, but oh well, I don't actually mind it. It's far better than the dresses, of course, and in fact, it's pretty comfortable. The next morning, I awoke to my alarm, got ready for school, and left my room. Shikomi was already completely ready for school, but just as we were leaving the house, she said she forgot one of her books, so I waited at the door while she ran to get it. We got to school and went to our own classes. In my classes, I was still getting harassed about the pants I wore 2 days before, but at least it was reducing a bit. When I got to lunch, I found Shikomi and sat next to her. She looked very worried about something. I have to tell you something, Erica. Shikomi said once I was sitting. What is it? I asked. Well, I brought the keys to the collars, you know, in case I wanted to use them while here at school. Yeah. Go on, I urged, getting nervous by her tone. Well, I kind of lost yours, Erica. I've looked all through my backpack, my pockets, and I've searched all the classes I've been to so far today. I just can't find it anywhere. Oh my God! How am I going to get this thing off? What will I tell my mom? Well, Erica, even if I hadn't lost it, you'd still have had to explain it to your mom. And look at the bright side. I wasn't planning on ever taking it off of you unless your neck got too big for it somehow. Is that supposed to make me feel better? I asked, kind of panicking now. Chapter 8, Ditching School. Shikomi pulled me closed and kissed me. This was a fantastic kiss, not as great as our first kiss, but still pretty damn incredible. I'm sure this helped out with my popularity quite a bit. I heard hoots and whistles and someone shouted, "Go Jim!" I was actually pretty thankful for this because it might help get rid of the teasing about those damn pants. Better? Shikomi asked. Uh-huh, I managed. Good, Shikomi said, no use crying over that key now, nothing we can do about it. Hey, I know what would cheer you up. How about the both of us stitch the rest of the day? Really? I asked. That would be so cool. Okay, but there's one condition. You'll have to wear the blouse and skirt that I brought. It's still in the car. Okay, I guess that's worth it, I said, and we headed to the car. Here you go. Change here, there's nobody around to see. Shikomi said, handing the clothes. I undressed and changed into the clothes Shikomi had given me. Here, let me do your makeup too, Shikomi insisted, and continued to apply makeup on my face without even waiting for me to reply. Okay, now wear these shoes. Your own shoes certainly wouldn't match your outfit. Shikomi said, handing me a pair of Mary Jane's. Just as I was putting on the second shoe that she brought, there was a knock at the window. I rolled down my window instinctively, forgetting what I was now wearing. Girls, shouldn't you be inside the school? Jerry, our school security guard cop, asked once my window was down. Oh, yes. Sorry, sir, we were grabbing a few things we forgot in the car, Shikomi quickly said, holding up her backpack. Okay, well, let's get you two back inside now that you've gotten your stuff, Jerry said and waited for us to get out of the car. I locked up my car and Jerry followed us as we headed back to the school. I shot a nervous look at Shikomi and she saw and looked back, but looked as if there weren't a problem in the world. That's easy for her to feel like. I'm a guy and I'm being led into my school dressed completely as a girl. Once we were back in the building, he patted me on the shoulder, now you girls stay out of trouble. We will, Shikomi said and grabbed my arm to pull me to get going. Shikomi, I can't go to my classes like this. Why not? Shikomi asked, honestly seeming confused. I just looked at Shikomi with eyes wide open as if she were insane. Damn it! I should have shoved my boy clothes in my backpack while we were still out there, I realized. If I go back out for them, Jerry would surely see us now. Oh, hi Shikomi. Who's this? Is she new? Asked a girl who was approaching us. Hello, Brittany. Yeah, you could say she's new. Shikomi said, smiling. This is Erica. Cool, well, I'd like to stay and chat, but I got to get going. See ya, Shikomi, nice meeting you, Erica. And she was off. So what am I going to do? I asked Shikomi once Brittany was out of earshot. Oh, relax. Shikomi asked, sounding exhausted. We'll still ditch, we can just hang out in the school library and maybe get on the internet for about a half hour. Then we'll go back out to your car again. Jerry will have stopped watching for us by then. So we did, we went to the library, but we didn't get on the internet. Oh look, a makeup tip book. How about you look through this book for a while? You're going to have to start doing your own makeup soon. Shikomi said, handing me the book. I much rather would have checked my email and played games online, but I took the book Shikomi handed me and learned everything I never wanted to learn about base, blush, mascara, and so on. I never knew it was so complicated just to add a little color to a girl's face, or in some cases, even harder to make it look like there is no makeup at all. After 20 minutes like planned, we left the library to go back to the car again. On the way out, we passed the cafeteria where there was a study hall in session, and we spotted Taylor. This way, Shikomi said, pointing towards Taylor, and I followed. Shikomi put her hands on Taylor's shoulders. You're coming with us. Okay, Taylor said, packing up her belongings and standing to follow us without even questioning it at all. As expected, Jerry was nowhere to be seen and we got back out to my car without any glitches. I inserted the key and we were off. So what are we going to do with the rest of the day off? Taylor finally asked. Well, let's get back to our house, then we'll think of something there. Shikomi said. But I think Shikomi already knew exactly what we would be doing, because she led both of us right to her bedroom and shut the door behind us. Okay, Erica, wipe off your makeup, we're going to teach you how to do it all yourself. Shikomi said after retrieving special towelettes for removing makeup and handed them to me. Of course I did as I was told. I was glad to be taking off the makeup. It was the putting it back on that I wasn't looking forward to. Both girls then ganged up on me, showing me different makeup tips, with a mirror behind them so that I could see everything they were doing. Wow, it actually looks pretty cute on me, I admitted when they completed. It sure does, but now you have to wipe it all back off so that you can try now. Shikomi said. So, I was given more towelettes, and washed off all the makeup again. Then I scooted closer to the mirror, and went to work on myself. Not bad for your first time, Shikomi said, you'll be doing your makeup from now on to get her practice. I might help you a little at first. I think it looks terrific, Erica, Taylor added. Yeah, well, while we're at it, you're also going to learn a few more things about being a girl, and practice some things we showed you in the park. Shikomi said, as I got a sinking feeling. Like what? I asked. Like walking, sitting, manners, all sorts of things. You're going to be a perfect polite and obedient little angel when we get through with you. Oh, come on. Do I have to? I don't want to act like a girl. I stated. Well, it's for your own good. Shikomi said. You look just like a real girl when you're dressed up and with makeup on, but the way you walk and such. I'd know you were really a guy under all that if I was somebody else. I looked down, that just got me thinking. Shikomi continued, you aren't getting out of going to the school Halloween party in that dress that I got for you and Taylor. If you want everybody at school figuring out who you really are because of the way you act, well then be my guest. Honestly, I don't care if everybody knows it's you. In fact, if you misbehave at the party, I'll announce who you really are to everybody, and you wouldn't get to leave after that. I'd still make you stay until the end of the party, no matter what happened after people found out. That drove the point home. I certainly didn't want any of my friends, and I especially didn't want any of my bullies finding out that it was actually me at the Halloween party. Okay. Do with me what you will. I said, and realized that might have been a bad choice of words. Okay, well, first the walking. When girls walk, their feet almost cross each other's paths. Try to walk, almost as if you're walking a straight line on the ground, but you don't have to make the feet go quite all the way to the line. Shikomi told me, getting up to demonstrate walking like this. Okay, now you try. Shikomi said after walking across the room twice. I stood up and did as I was told. After walking back and forth across the room about 5 times, I guess they were satisfied with the way I was walking. Okay, now practice walking like that with a book on your head, to help with your balance. Shikomi then said. So I picked up a book I had, it was a school textbook about an inch thick. I tried walking like that now than before, but it was a lot harder with the book on my head. The book fell several times before I started getting the hang of it. Okay, now let me see you sit down, Shikomi said. So I obeyed and sat down, but right away Shikomi frowned. When you are wearing a skirt, you need to bring the skirt down under your butt as you sit, and smooth the skirt out on top, and then you must always cross your legs with a skirt on. You don't want anyone seeing up that skirt, do you? Shikomi asked. Of course not. I said, shaking my head. Good, now try it again as I told you. So I stood up, then sat back down like Shikomi described. Good job, Taylor said. What else? Oh, this is something everybody should know. Remember to keep your elbows off the table when you eat. And I think that's about it. Well, I bet Taylor is anxious to get back to her car we made her leave at school, I said, standing up. Actually, my mom took my car again this morning. I would have needed to bug somebody for a ride home again anyway. Taylor replied. Well, that works out. I'll give you a ride home from here. But first I need to change out of these clothes in case my mother is home when I get back home. Is that all right, Shikomi? I asked. Yes, she answered, and you might want to wash off that makeup again, she said, handing me more towelettes. Oh, right. Thanks, I said and headed to my bedroom to change. I changed and got back to Shikomi's room. You ready to go, Taylor? Yep, let's get going. You coming, Shikomi? Taylor asked. No, I'll wait here. See ya, Taylor, Shikomi said as we headed out the door. When we parked in Taylor's driveway, we started talking and joking. You know, you're so cute as Erica, Taylor finally said, and then scooted closer and kissed me before I even had time to think or to stop her. Chapter 9, Spelling Bee. What was that? I asked when we parted. Was it so bad that you couldn't even tell it was a kiss? Taylor asked, with a giggle. Well, no, that's not what I meant. It was rather good, in fact. I mean, why did you kiss me? Well, I've kinda sorta been getting a crush on you, she answered. Well, I really only see you as a friend, Taylor. I'm not sure if it's official, but I think I'm dating Shikomi, and even if we aren't, I only have those kinds of feelings for her right now. Oh, was all Taylor could get out. I hope this doesn't ruin our friendship though, I said. Nah, we'll be okay. I just thought it was worth a shot and that I'd regret it if I didn't act on these feelings. Okay, no problem. Night, Taylor, I said. Night, Erica, Taylor replied and walked into her house. What took you so long? Shikomi asked when I got home. Well, I guess Taylor wanted to talk. What about? She asked. Well, of course I couldn't lie, so I told her all about what happened. Well, I'll just have to have a nice chat with Taylor about all this. I can certainly understand her attraction, but you're my girl. No. Please don't let her find out that I told you, I pleaded. Why not? Shikomi asked. She'd tell on you in a heartbeat. She would know bad things might happen if she didn't tell me and I found out on my own. I know. But still. Please? All right, Shikomi finally said. But she must still be punished. She just won't know why she's being punished. It won't be the first time. Okay, I said, feeling bad for telling on Taylor, but also feeling kind of good. Shikomi called me her girl. I guess it's official now. The next day at school, Shikomi walked right up to Taylor to kind of confront her. I had already gone to my class, so I wasn't around. Hello, Taylor, Shikomi said. Oh, hey, Shikomi. What's up? Taylor asked. I'll be going to that spelling bee you're in today, Shikomi stated. Oh, really? I thought you said it was stupid that they were making the whole school attend it. I thought you were going to ditch it because you didn't want to come. I didn't want to come, but you will, Shikomi said with a sly smile. Huh? Taylor asked, not getting Shikomi's little hinting joke. Never mind about that. I have a reason to come now. Oh? Taylor asked. Yes. But you will have a couple distractions during it. Shikomi said. What kind of distractions? Well, you see these little clamps? They give little electric shocks with a remote control, just like your collar. Are those nipple clamps? Taylor asked. Yep, I know how much you get turned on by toys that shock your nipples. And you're going to be wearing these during the spelling bee. You can't do that. I'll need to concentrate. Oh, you'll be concentrating all right, because if you get any words wrong, you'll get a shock from your collar. And that one isn't as pleasurable, is it? And you should be glad I don't have a third clamp. That would really distract you. Well, I guess your mind is made up. Give me the clamps. Shikomi handed Taylor the clamps, and after making sure nobody was around to see, she reached up under her shirt and pinched one on each nipple. The bell rang, so Shikomi and Taylor both went off to their own classes. After a few classes rolled by, Shikomi was in math class and she needed to use the restroom, so she got permission and left. Just after she exited the room, she casually glanced into the classroom next to hers, and what she saw made her immediately stop walking. I didn't know Taylor's third period class was right next to mine. Shikomi quietly whispered to herself. Taylor was in her English class, resting her head on her arms, with her eyes half closed. Taylor. Wake up, Shikomi said, whispering to herself again while she pulled out a remote from her pocket, then pushed a button. Taylor sat right up, with eyes wide open, then started looking all around until she spotted Shikomi out in the hallway, at which point Shikomi gave a small wave. Shikomi pushed the button again and Taylor shook her head no, but Shikomi simply nodded her head yes and kept holding down on the button. Nobody in Taylor's class could see it, but from where Shikomi was she could see right under Taylor's desk. So when Taylor's hand wandered down and started rubbing herself, Shikomi got to watch. Then, to be mean, Shikomi just stopped and walked away to go visit the restroom like she originally needed to do. Shikomi used the restroom, then returned to her class. Knowing that Taylor's class was right next door and that the remote could get to her, Shikomi randomly gave Taylor little shocks periodically. Meanwhile, in Taylor's class, Taylor had just been called on for a question, and in the middle of her answer she let out a slight moan, which got the whole class giggling. Taylor was pretty glad when the class ended. As she was leaving the room, Shikomi stopped her. You better not do any of that touching fun during the spelling bee. The whole school will be watching you. Unless, of course, that's what you want. Taylor just smiled and kept on walking. Lunch finally came around and I got to see Shikomi again. You have to sit with me at the spelling bee. I've got a surprise. Meet me here before the assembly and we'll walk in and sit together. Shikomi told me. Okay, I said, wondering what the surprise would be. After lunch, I couldn't wait till the assembly, and it finally came, an hour before school lets out. Classes that were supposed to take place during this time for everyone were canceled for the day. I met up with Shikomi down in the cafeteria, and we found our seats together as planned. As soon as we sat down, Shikomi pulled out a remote. I wasn't sure what it went to. It certainly wasn't to our collars. The collar remotes also have the key part. Just keep an eye on Taylor. You'll notice I can control her even from clear back here. Shikomi said as she aimed the remote at Taylor and pushed the button. I saw Taylor's mouth pop open as soon as Shikomi pushed the button. What did you just do? I asked. This is Taylor's punishment for kissing my girl. It'll be a little tough for her to concentrate on spelling with jolts of electricity going right to her nipples from the nipple clamps she's wearing. Shikomi said. I kinda giggled at hearing that. Taylor confided in me recently that she'd prefer the shocks in the collar go to her nipples because she got turned on by that. So I knew it wasn't hurting her, except maybe hurting her ability to compete in the spelling bee. One of the English teachers walked up to the podium, which brought everyone to a gradual silence. Thank you, everyone. I'd like to begin the spelling bee now. Jeff, please stand. There was a line of chairs on the stage with the school's smartest students on stage. Taylor was in the third seat from the left. A boy who was sitting in the first seat stood. Jeff. Your word is arachnophobia. Jeff got it right, as did the other person ahead of Taylor. Then came Taylor's turn. She stood up as directed, and that's when Shikomi pushed the button on the remote. Both me and Shikomi could tell she was trying hard to pretend nothing happened. It was actually pretty funny. As Taylor was spelling, in the middle of the word, Shikomi pushed the button again, which made Taylor pause for a second before continuing spelling. That's when I realized that if we had planned out a system, we could help Taylor cheat if she had trouble on a word. Oh well. This is more fun anyway. Taylor still spelled the word correctly despite the distractions. During Taylor's next two words, Shikomi pressed the button for every letter Taylor said. Because of this, on her fourth word, she spelled it very quickly, hoping for a short shock, but that made Shikomi a little mad, so Shikomi pressed and held the button for about a full minute. During that minute, Taylor leaned her head back and closed her eyes. We could tell that Taylor was getting unbelievably turned on. Here, do you want to give it a try? Shikomi asked me. Sure, I eagerly said, but as soon as I was holding it, I felt weird. I felt nervous to push the button. That's my friend up there trying to concentrate. I didn't want to mess her up. Since a little time had passed since the button had been pressed, Taylor appeared to relax a little. Maybe she thought she wasn't going to be shocked anymore. Ooh, press it and hold it. Now. Shikomi commanded me. So I did, but I felt a little bad for doing that to Taylor. That certainly surprised Taylor. She kind of jumped a little in her seat. Hee hee, keep her on her toes. Shikomi said. Then came Taylor's turn again. Taylor, your word is maintenance. MAINTN. Taylor started spelling. Ow. What was that for? I said after getting a sharp jolt of electricity in my collar. ANCE, finished Taylor. Whoops, it's set to the wrong frequency. I meant to shock Taylor for spelling the word incorrectly. Shikomi said, flipping the switch over, then pushing the button to shock Taylor with the collar. Taylor flinched and grabbed at her neck and realized she'd incorrectly spelled the word. I'm sorry, Taylor, that was not correct. If the next person correctly spells the word, you will be out of the game. I started thinking it was unusual that Taylor's collar key was set to shock me before Shikomi changed it. But when I got a look at it, it did have Taylor written on it. Perhaps Shikomi wrote the wrong names on them and it's actually Taylor's key that is lost.